I want to tell you the moment to when my career really started to take off. And it's not what you're thinking. It was the moment when I stopped thinking like an academic and I stopped thinking how I would get ahead in the career. And I began thinking about if I love myself, if I loved other people, my ultimate goal was to make other people feel good inside and make myself feel good inside. How would I go about doing that? And the idea is simple. How do I create unconditional love in my heart, in other people's heart? And I know you're laughing right now, and I laugh at this too because I think it's absolutely the silliest thing in the world. I grew up thinking I had unbelievable parents and an unbelievable family. And then I went into the harsh world. I had moved 2,000 kilometers from my house to go to an engineering program, hopefully to impress people and to want other people to like me for who I actually am. I moved far away because that's what I thought that people did to get people to like you is to be impressive. And I continue to have that belief that the more that I work, the more that I try to impress other people, the more that they would actually like me for who I was. And I went through the PhD program this was all at the top programs in my country. And, they're internationally well known and extraordinarily good. And I thought that the name of the game was to impress other people and to make other people feel something where they would say, wow, you're such an impressive person. And there was a couple of breaking moments. I'm not going to talk sort of publicly about any of these kind of things, but I do remember moments where I was just, then I did my PhD and then I couldn't get a job from it. And there was a moment where I was feeling so down and so hard on myself that I just decided to smile. And that was the way I was like, I'm going to try this. I'm going to just try smiling. I was so down. And it kind of worked. I felt better about who I was by doing that. And that was the first inkling when I began to think, this is weird. And then about my third year of being an assistant professor, I finally got a job. And then about my third year, I began working on the reciprocity project with this sort of inspiration drive home from Disney. We live relatively close to Disney World. And I was driving home with the kids in the back. And I remember thinking, why is nobody building a platform to help us work and make it easier? And so I built this thing, put it on the internet, and nobody cared, right? Like it was it was a crickets, nobody cared. And then I began putting these things out on the internet and talking to people, and I realized that a lot of people are having these experiences where they are simply struggling with who they actually are, and they view the world in terms of the performance metrics, and the only way that you succeed is by impressing other people and having more of the same, more of making sure that everybody knows how many times that you're cited, how many times that you have a list on your CV and all this on your resume for those of you who are outside of it. And I began to process this and think about this. It's like, oh, wait a minute, there is more going on behind the scenes than what it looks like. It's not something that you can solve with just software. It's not something that is easy to solve. It requires a change of your heart. And that is a hard journey. It's a hard process to change your heart, at least for me. And it has been a journey of me acknowledging all of my weaknesses and being open about them. It's been a journey of sharing a whole bunch and always coming back to, I am so extraordinarily privileged to be alive, to have lived, to have been in a moment in my life that I can get an education, to be privileged to live in this world that we live in today, that this is a new thing. All of this is new. And we're forgetting about the privilege and how amazing it actually is. And the other thing, we're forgetting that we're all talented. We're all extraordinarily talented human beings as it is, that is trying. We're all these like overachieving, insecure, overachieving individuals that are all extraordinarily talented to begin with. I believe that most people are in this world. And then we're trying to sort of position ourselves and make other people think that we're so impressive. But we're forgetting that we already are. You don't have to. And that's where I think my parents and my family, that, they were never, I think they grew up in an era. My dad was a Polish immigrant, first generation, like born 2 years after they moved from Poland in 1935. There was this undertone of impressing other people, but he was a rebel. If you knew him, you would laugh, because he was really not kind of a rebellious kind of person. He's really prim and proper, but very quiet. But I think the way that he rebelled is that he was just quiet about the world. He didn't have to impress. There was nothing to impress. They did well, but the way they impressed was he went out and he had a big garden. And that was his saying. He showed everybody his garden. And he sat outside looking and watching the garden grow. And that was my role model. I couldn't have asked for a better role model. And I hope by me sharing these videos that you begin to learn to just sit and enjoy your garden grow, because it's a remarkable thing to watch. And I hope you go off and you do extraordinarily good things, but you never forget that. And we're all just watching our gardens grow, and we're super happy and privileged to be here today, to be able to do that. Because guess what? He's passed away. And that time is fleeting. And I hope you don't lose fact of that. All of this sort of impressing and positioning and all of that kind of stuff, it disappears quickly. So enjoy this moment. It's a good day. It's a good year. Enjoy it.